Okay, so here's the situation. A really important, you could even say legendary, U.S. military plane has crashed in western Iraq. Now, the official story says it was a tragic accident, but another country is claiming it was an act of war. So let's dive in and unpack these two completely different stories.
It all kicks off with this one simple fact. A KC-135 Stratotanker, a cornerstone of American air power, is down. And look, we're not talking about just any old plane here. Losing one of these is a huge deal, and you can bet it set off alarms at the highest levels immediately.
And that, right there, is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Was it a tragic accident, or was it something much, much darker? To really get a handle on how high the stakes are, first we need to talk about the plane at the center of this whole mystery.
All right, so let's get into what this plane, the KC-135, actually is. It's not flashy like a fighter jet or a bomber, but you know what? Without this thing, those other planes can't really do their jobs effectively, especially over long distances.
Yeah, it's got this nickname, the Flying Gas Station, and it is a perfect fit. Its whole job, its entire reason for being, is to top off other planes with fuel right in the middle of the sky. That one capability is absolutely fundamental to America's ability to project its power anywhere in the world. So, this is why this plane is so unbelievably important. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every long-range bombing mission, every extended fighter patrol deep in enemy territory, pretty much none of that happens without these flying gas stations. Losing even one of them leaves a massive hole in what the Air Force can do. They are, and this is no exaggeration, the absolute backbone of its global reach.
You know, for a plane with such a gigantic, critical job, you might be surprised at how few people are actually on board. Just 3 crew members. And in an emergency, their situation is, well, it's incredibly dangerous.
And this is the grim reality of flying in one of these. You've got 2 pilots and 1 specialist who handles the refueling boom. The heartbreaking part is, there are no ejection seats, no parachutes. If something goes terribly, catastrophically wrong, there's just no way out for the crew.
Okay, so now that we know what this plane is and what's at stake, let's get back to the crash itself. What was the first official story? What did the U.S. say happened over the skies of western Iraq? So the first explanation that came out was that it was just a terrible, terrible accident. The theory was that 2 of these massive tankers actually hit each other while on a mission. It makes sense, right? Horrible accident, but it's an explanation. But then, right when everyone was starting to accept the accident theory, a completely different story, a really explosive one, came out of a regional power, Iran. Iran came right out and said, "We did it. We shot that plane down." And this is where things get weird. They used this really specific, kind of cryptic phrase saying they used an appropriate weapon. The way they worded it feels so deliberate, so vague, it just instantly lit a fire of speculation. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. For all their big talk, Iran hasn't shown us a single thing to prove it. No radar tracks, no pictures, no pieces of a missile, nothing. Just the words. So you have to ask, why would you say that without proof? Is it just a bluff? Or is there something else going on?
So now we're left with these 2 totally different, competing stories about what happened to that KC-135 and its crew. Let's just look at them side by side.
And here it is, the core of the whole mystery, laid out plain and simple. You've got the official theory over here, a heartbreaking accident. And then you have Iran's claim over there, a direct act of war. Both of these things can't be true. It's one or the other. So, where does that leave us? Was this a heartbreaking operational failure or a deliberate attack? A lie cooked up to create chaos? Or was it the first shot in a conflict we didn't even know had started? The truth is still buried somewhere out there, and finding it is going to decide what happens next in one of the most tense places on Earth.